Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm back with yet another unboxing video where I'll be unboxing a couple of little packages, recent purchases, all vinyl. Quite an interesting mix of stuff here as well. Once again, I've been spending money that I probably shouldn't have, but I found some real bargains. And like always, I just want to show them off. So, we'll start off with the first article then. This is a bit of a wild card actually, as it wasn't necessarily from a store or from a shop front or anything like that. It was just a seller on eBay who had some stuff, happened to be new and sealed, so it was a very good price. So I put in a bid, but I was horrifically disappointed to discover that they had only packaged it in effectively a kind of like a parcel bag. No bubble wrap, no cardboard, nothing of worth anyway, nothing of mention. And consequently, this lovely new copy of Sacramentum's classic 1996 debut album, Far Away from the Sun, has horrific creases to the bottom corners and also marks to the top there as well. Don't know if you can really see that, but it's very frustrating. So, of course, I did contact the seller and said this will simply not do. So they have given me a partial refund and I can't be bothered to have to send it back. So with a bit of a refund, I think I can just about overlook the fact that it's creased. This is a great album. This is an absolute fan favourite. And to be honest, I'm a little bit late to I have been a little bit late to the Sacramentum party. They've been, pretty much defunct for quite a long time now. However, with their three full-length albums that they did have, they've made a huge impression on the black and sort of melodic black metal subgenres and the whole scene. It's a really nice quality reissue from recent times. I think this was 2020, so it is a recent reissue, and I'll just try and fold this out just to give you the impression this is quite a massive insert. Really high quality though, really nice package. And I have to say, I just love that artwork. I just think that's such a fantastic album cover, absolutely brilliant, and it's a really great album as well. It's a really good album. It's just a normal standard black vinyl, so I shan't tackle that out of the sleeve there, the outer sleeve. It's a really solid album. It's got a lot of melodicism in there, but it's almost at times a little bit too heavy to comfortably be black metal. A little bit kind of straying into the death metal territory at times, but it's a really solid album with tracks like the opening track Fog's Kiss. Of course, we've got the seamless transition into the second track, Far Away from the Sun, the title track. Then we've got other brilliant tracks such as When Night Surrounds Me, Cries from a Restless Soul, Obsolete Tears, and this version does have a couple of bonus tracks, or a bonus track which is Awaken Chaos, which is a demo version from '96 as well. So this is a lesson more than anything. If you're going to buy vinyl on eBay, probably best to go from or for someone that has, you know, a shop front or a store rather than just a randomer, because yeah, that's really annoying. That's really annoying. At some point I'll probably end up having to buy another copy. Hey, so that's just a warm-up essentially. Now I've got two rather large heavy packages here, and I'll just take the larger of the two, get the trusty parcel knife, and away we go. Okay, amazingly I managed not to damage anything there. So we'll just take the first article then from the top of this little pile here. As you can see, just show this kind of in situ burst forth. And what are we greeted by? We're greeted by a total wild card. This is Pike versus the Automaton, which is, if you're not familiar, this is Matt Pike, quite a well-renowned figure within the sort of sludge and stoner doom metal world. This is, of course, the frontman of the Mighty Sleep. So he has, and of course High on Fire as well. So he's released effectively a solo album, and I had heard a lot of good things about this album, or about this project, if you like. and I was quite intrigued. I was really quite intrigued. So I did check it out on Spotify, and actually it sounds really good. Some of the material does sound very much kind of like Sleep. It's kind of got that sound and aesthetic going on there. And then some of the material sounds a little, it's got kind of like a Motorhead vibe at times as well. So it is quite interesting stuff. And I believe, I'm just going to open this up because it says limited 180 grams smog vinyl. So I believe this is an interesting colour scheme. However, I can't really picture in my head what smog vinyl would look like. So we're greeted by a nice picture in the sleeves there. Very nice. Let's have a glance at what smog vinyl looks like. Oh yeah. It's kind of like a smoky effect clear vinyl. Smog. Wonder if that's sort of a reference to the pot smoking, creating a hell of a fog kind of thing going there. Neat though, really like that. Very nice. It's very heavy duty, high quality vinyl. So yeah, as I say, this is a bit of a wild card because Pike and the Automaton, or versus the Automaton, isn't exactly something that I was straight in there as soon as I found out it was a thing. It was more like a general interest, but it says here £20 in the top corner. I certainly did not pay that. Very nice indeed. Just take that out of plastic off there, and then we'll have a little look at the inside of the gatefold, if you like. Get rid of that shrink wrap. So what we're greeted with inside. Oh, some cool artwork, in fact. Just hold that up so you can see. It's pretty awesome artwork. Like it. Awesome. So yeah, if you like Sleep and you like High on Fire, then definitely you're probably going to enjoy this. Sludgy kind of stoner doom. Good stuff. A real mix. Real mix. So the next article then I see staring back at me. This is an album and a band that I am familiar with. The Mighty Crowbar. So this was their most recent studio album, Zero and Below. I reviewed this when it came out. It's quite funny because I saw that review when I was scrolling through the channel, sort of doing a bit of work the other day, and it's so low down. It's quite primitive in comparison to what I do now. So yeah, it's quite old school, but actually this is a great album. This is a really good album. I love Crowbar. If you're not familiar with Crowbar, kind of sludgy stoner doom, heavy freaking stuff. It's kind of got like a hardcore edge as well at times. You've got the great Kirk Winstein, the riff general, the riff lord himself. I'd say most notable, really, not from Crowbar, but from his association with Down. Of course, that great supergroup featuring Phil Anselmo, among others. But of course, this band, he's been ploughing this furrow for a lot of years now. And actually, Crowbar are a really good band. They are a really solid outfit. So this features a translucent galaxy clear and black ice. And a download card, which is always cool. Awesome. I'm really interested to see what this looks like. So this is, I believe this came out last year. It might have been 2021. I'm not quite sure. Can't quite recall off the top of my head. But we'll just tear into this one just to get that nice vinyl out of there. So there's Kirk, front and centre. Looking pretty formidable. Awesome stuff. I'm interested to see what this vinyl colour is like. Okay. Kind of reminds me of the Smog art. We've got there Galaxy Clear and Black Ice. Very similar to the kind of Smog. But yeah, still cool. Still like that. Really solid album. Actually, this is an album that I have revisited a couple of times in recent sort of weeks. And there are a few tracks of absolute unparalleled monstrous awesomeness, including The Fear That Binds You, the opening track there, massively riff-eccentric. We've got Confess to Nothing, Chemical Gods. We've got the seriously dark and ominous sounding weighty beast, Denial of the Truth as well. Freaking awesome. Then we've got Crush Negativity, Reanimating a Lie, Zero and Below. Really good tracks, start to finish. So as I say, I've got this on CD, But actually, as soon as I saw this for a bargain, yeah, wasn't going to miss out. It's freaking worth it. Great album. So Crowbar, Zero and Below. Up next, taking a turn for the extreme with Enterprise Earth. I would say this is firmly a deathcore band, a little bit technical. This is The Chosen, limited edition, 180 grams, ghostly cobalt and emerald vinyl. And we get a download card, which is always very nice. So this is a double album of monstrous deathcore. Really love that kind of creepy, sinister stained glass effect there. Really cool. This is a recent release as well, because this is 2021 or 2022. So, you know, I don't know if it is their most recent, but I think it is their most recent album. Now, I came across Enterprise Earth many years ago when I was very much into the kind of brutal death metal and the slam subgenre. I was really into that, and deathcore. And that first album, I think it's Patient Zero, really did interest me. That was a freaking great album. Nice gatefold there. Really looks the part. Absolutely loved that album. And then, to be honest, didn't really keep up with it. Didn't really keep up with the band. Haven't been following them since. I just happened to see this advertised. Ooh. Ooh. Look at that colour scheme. That is freaking cool. That's trippy. It's a little bit kind of psychedelic. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, as I say, hadn't been keeping up with Enterprise Earth, but saw this, then checked it out on Spotify, I think it was, and was really impressed. Really formidable deathcore, but with a kind of mature stance to it. It's not just like, hey, let's create an album that just has nothing but bludgeoning riffs. Not like that. It's got technicality, it's got kind of intricacy as well there. Just wanted to see the other one, just to see if it was any slight difference there, but yeah, really cool. Yeah, really, really cool. Trippy. Like it. So yeah, a great one. I would say that if you're a fan of Viata's Murder, if you're a fan of Carnifex, or I'm trying to think of some other appropriate names, maybe Fit for an Autopsy, then definitely you'd enjoy this. These guys absolutely bludgeon. They've got an interesting kind of sound and style as well. It's not just like conventional savagery. There is a little bit of kind of maturity there. A little bit kind of Lorna Shore style maturity and complexity to their music. So yeah, definitely check it out if you like any of those bands mentioned. Enterprise Earth with The Chosen. So, final article in this little package then. Now this is an album that I was familiar with from many moons ago. This is Fit for an Autopsy, and I don't think this is their debut album, but early album anyway. This is entitled Hellbound. Limited edition, black and tangerine with orchid splatter. 180 gram vinyl with download. This album, just a single album, this one. This one, I remember this coming out and there being a little bit of commotion in the deathcore world at just the savagery of this album, and I loved it. And to be honest, I listened to it again the other day on Spotify, and I still love it. I think it's a freaking great album. It's quite juvenile, quite primitive, kind of deathcore at times, but it's great. It's got those savage, monstrous riffs going on. It's got all the weighty breakdowns that you could possibly want. You know, I'll admit openly that I'm a fan of deathcore. I do like deathcore. I'm not an absolute die-hard deathcore fan, nor do I listen to deathcore more than I do black metal or death metal or power metal for that matter. However, I do think there are some great, crushing, weighty deathcore albums out there, and this is one. Just take you through some highlight tracks for me. The Great Gift of the World, Do You See Him, Tremors, just really good tracks. So I'm really interested to see what in this nice picture sleeve, lyrics on the back there. I want to see what this interesting colour scheme looks like. Ooh, yeah, that is interesting. Oh wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I don't even know. That's almost like a really deep purple with some crazy stuff going on there. Yeah, really nice. I like that a lot. That really looks the part. Neato. Yep, very much like that. Very interesting. Have not seen a vinyl colour scheme like that before. So I'm pleased. I'm chuffed with that. Very cool indeed. As I say, similar to Enterprise Earth, if you like Thy Art Is Murder, Lorna Shore, if you like Despised Icon, then definitely you're going to enjoy Fit for an Autopsy or Hellbound. Check it out. So that's the 4 vinyls from that package, and the rather sad tale of the damaged one, damaged Sacramentum Far from the Sun album. So that leaves just one little standalone in this particular article. So once again, just tear this open and we're in. Okay, so this one could probably lose me a few credits, and some people will no doubt vomit all over their laptops or computers, whatever, or over their phones when they see this. But bearing in mind when I got into metal and music just in general, when I was about 12 years old, I was, of course, exposed primarily to the gateway bands. The bands like Slipknot, Disturbed, Bullet for My Valentine, those sorts of bands, big ones. And one band that really stood out for me a couple of years after that, when I got into them, I think I got into them with this album, in fact. One of those bands was the Black Veil Brides. Now this, you may be disgusted to know, is one of my favourite Black Veil Brides albums. I unapologetically love this band. No, they're not a band that I listen to all the time. I don't revisit them all that regularly, to be honest. Maybe I'll listen to them a couple of times a year, where I'll have, you know, an evening where I just feel like getting seriously nostalgic and delving deep, and I'll listen to certainly We Stitch These Wounds, or The Legacy, or We Set the World on Fire, or maybe Wretched and Divine. I'll delve back to the first 3 albums, basically. But this album was always the one that really stood out to me, because actually this was quite a defining album. I think that due to the sort of the budget for production, it didn't sound as good as it could, but actually the quality of the songs is really good. And I'm not going to say that it's a guilty pleasure, Black Veil Brides or this album, because I don't believe in that personally. I think that actually if it's good music and you enjoy it, then is there any harm there? No, there isn't. So I'm not going to apologise for that. But I saw Black Veil Brides again for the first time in about 10 years, I think it was, very recently at the Norwich UEA. And they were doing a tour supporting their most recent album. I believe it's entitled The Phantom Tomorrow, which is actually a very good album. And the conclusion that I've come to about Black Veil Brides is that actually they are just a really solid heavy metal band. They are modern heavy metal, yes, but they're not a metalcore band. They're not a screamo band. They're not any of that. Basically, to me, they have the makings of one of the next sort of biggest heavy metal bands. But this is a re-recorded version of that debut album, We Stitch These Wounds, which was released in 2020 for the 10th anniversary of the album. So there's the guys, still looking like Black Veil Brides, wearing the paint, looking the full part. And I'm actually really chuffed to have this, because, like I say, I freaking loved that album. Absolutely loved it. I've had a CD of that over these years, and I've frequently revisited it. This is just a great album. Really solid. We've had one lineup change. Of course, we haven't got Ashley Purdy there on bass anymore. We've got Lonnie Eagleton. But the rest of the guys are on fine form. The album is, I believe it's actually produced by Jake Pitts, the guitarist, and it's mixed by Zeus as well. So we've got a notable name behind the mixing desk there, and Jake does a pretty fantastic job of producing this album. The guitars sound massive. This sounds freaking heavy. There is a little bit of a kind of Twisted Sister vibe that I get at times. There's also a little bit of a well, it's not just a little bit, it's a very, very prominent Avenged Sevenfold influence, sort of circa City of Evil, maybe the second album as well. I think that was clearly quite an influence on them. I'm almost getting a bit of a Bullet for My Valentine vibe as well. So when I came into contact with this band as a 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever, I was definitely going to be sucked right in with that sort of sound. So it just sounds great. It's a brilliant mix. The guitars sound massive. Andy, he has a really good voice. I think he has a great voice. Oh, this is an interesting colour scheme. Nice. I'm not really sure what that's meant to be. It's like a kind of a yellow splatter with black streaks on clear. Whatever it is, it's freaking cool. I like it a lot. Nice picture insert there as well, showing the guys. So yeah, they're coming from the right place. It's very metal. It sounds brilliant, heavy as hell, and it's also got some brilliant, very catchy tracks. As I say, Andy has a great vocal delivery. I think he's got a great vocal style and sound as well, and he sounds very unique. So tracks such as We Stitch These Wounds, Children's Surrender, of course, Perfect Weapon and Knives and Pens are pretty much classics for these guys. It's absolute fan favourites, and I don't think they'd get away with playing live and not including those tracks in their set list. But then you get personal favourites for me, such as All Your Hate, Never Give In, and Sweet Blasphemy as well. Absolutely brilliant numbers, sounding fantastic, heavy as hell. If you like Bullet for My Valentine, if you like Twisted Sister, if you like Avenged Sevenfold, actually sounding more like a metal band than a prog band, then yeah, definitely you're going to enjoy Black Veil Brides. Definitely going to enjoy Re-Stitch These Wounds. Not We Stitch These Wounds, Re-Stitch These Wounds. It just sounds great. I've listened to this on Spotify a number of times now, and this re-recording does the original justice. It sounds, you know, they are the same songs, basically. They haven't tried to tamper with them at all. There's a few little differences, subtle differences here and there, but overall, it sounds brilliant. So if you're a fan of Black Veil Brides, you're not going to be disappointed with this re-recorded version, because as a fan myself, I'd say it sounds great. It's just awesome. Awesome heavy metal. Really catchy. It's very emotive stuff. It's very powerful as well. And this was an album that meant a lot to me at a very difficult sort of time in my life, so I can totally sympathise when you read that people absolutely love my Black Veil Brides, because, you know, they are quite an open, sort of compassionate band. Definitely I can feel that. So if you're not a fan of Black Veil Brides, maybe you could consider giving it a go. Check it out. I can listen to Necrophobic, I can listen to Marduk, I can listen to Cannibal Corpse, I can listen to Iron Maiden, Saxon, Fit for an Autopsy. I can also listen to Black Veil Brides. So, no shame there. So that is a rundown of my latest purchases then, and this nice unboxing. So just to recap in order there, the slightly disappointing condition of Sacramentum with Far Away from the Sun, classic death kind of black metal, absolutely essential stuff from 1996. Then we've got Matt Pike with Pike versus the Automaton, double album of interesting kind of stoner sludge doom. Then we have sludgy doomy excellence from Crowbar with Zero and Below, sounding formidable and mighty. The great Kirk Winstein, the Riff Lord. Then we've got Enterprise Earth with The Chosen, double album Deathcore Savagery. Then we've got more Deathcore Savagery, but only in a single album, but seriously enjoyable stuff nonetheless. Fit for an Autopsy with Hellbound. And then last but not least, we've got heavy metal giants and future titans, Black Veil Brides with Re-Stitch These Wounds. Thank you very much for watching, my friends, this humble unboxing video. Do feel free to comment, share your thoughts and opinions on these albums. Are you a fan of any of these bands? Have you got these albums? What are your thoughts and opinions? Feel free to like and subscribe as always, but do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Take care and stay heavy.